welcome to my channel, Vixen Vixen. This is my daughter, Nevaeh. She's 5, and she wanted to help me with my intro today. Today I wanted to do a video on my experiences thus far with my gastric bypass surgery, insurance requirements, and the processes that I've gone through so far to get where I am today. So I've gone through several videos, well, not several videos, quite a few videos, targeting people who are just starting out with their gastric bypass experience, or kind of in the same area that I am of the whole process itself. And what spurred this video is some of the comments that I've heard other people say, or some of the experiences that they've had. And so I wanted to put this video out there so that maybe something I say or something in my experiences could possibly help out in some way. And I would really be happy if that was the case. So let me start by saying, if I provide customer service for someone, what I expect from myself is to provide a level of customer service that awes somebody. You know, that person behind the counter or on the other end of the phone who just goes out of their way to make sure that by the time we are done communicating, you are happy, satisfied, and I've taken care of you. I've provided customer service that is wonderful. And so on the flip side of that, when I go shopping, or we go to a restaurant, or when I go to my dentist, or when I go to my doctor's, I expect a level of professionalism and customer service that awes me. I slack sometimes and I let things go here and there, but when it comes to my insurance and my body, which involves my doctors, I won't slack. And I think that it's important for us to remember that our body is our temple, and it houses the most important thing that we have in this world, which is our life. If we allow others to disregard how important that is for us, then we are only doing ourselves a disservice. I realize that doctors, dentists, psychiatrists, anyone with a PhD, it's like a student with a teacher. You know, you're in just a little bit of awe. Sometimes we get a little flustered, or we're not sure how to deal with them. But I always remind myself that in the end, it is all about being a customer, and they are providing customer service. Whether you're paying a premium to an insurance company to cover your surgery, or you're paying out of pocket for your services, you are a customer, and you have the right to expect a level of professionalism, and you have the right to like your doctor, to have respect for your doctor, and to expect certain things from him. What I've heard from people in videos is, I don't like my doctor. I'm not comfortable with my doctor. My doctor treated me like I was stupid. My insurance company is charging me again for this procedure, or they're getting additional charges from their insurance companies. And you know, they're not sure how to deal with these things. Well, I have two pieces of advice for those that are having these problems. First of all, I realized that insurance companies can be limited. We are limited to our insurance choices based on our jobs, on our income, and our states that we live in. And I realized that we're also limited to the doctors that we have a choice from based on the same things. Will our insurance work with that doctor? Will our insurance, you know, cover this surgery with this hospital or this bariatric institute? But we have to realize that even within our insurance, there are ways to get the services that you need. Even if you're not completely satisfied with your insurance and you're not working with somebody who's giving you much help, you don't have to settle with them. There are ways to get around your insurance. You just have to find them. If you're not happy with your bariatric team or your doctor, you need to find another one. You can't expect, bless you. You can't expect to receive a level of customer service from someone that you don't feel comfortable with or that you don't trust. And so it's important that you find a way around that. For those of you who are having problems with your insurance companies and you do like your doctors and their bariatric teams are the resource that you want to use to work with your insurance companies, because your insurance companies and your doctors aren't necessarily friends, and you can use your bariatric team, like if you have a surgery coordinator like I do, or if you don't, maybe your doctor themselves, or sometimes even the secretaries and the office personnel that are there. The doctor wants to be paid. That's why he's doing the job that he is doing, and they make lots of money doing it. They make lots of money from the insurance companies that you're using. So utilizing your doctor's office, not just for your surgery itself, but also for, dealing with your insurance company. That is a huge resource right there, because a lot of times they want you to have the surgery, and so they're willing to do and talk to who they need to make that happen for you. So I can't really tell you a lot about your insurance specifically. I can only share my experience with my insurance and my journey so far, but I'd like to kind of go over my insurance and what I know about it so that you kind of have an idea of what you should be doing in your journey as well. First of all, getting the jargon, I call it jargon, from your insurance company that relates to the requirements they have for gastric bypass or BSG even. A lot of times they're the same. Getting that 40 to 50 pages worth of jargon, you're going to want that. Print it out, keep it on hand, put it with your bariatric paperwork, because you or your bariatric team at some point are going to need it, or you're going to need to refer to it to make sure that you are qualifying yourself for that final goal of approval. Excuse you. Thank you. So, first I want to start with my insurance. My insurance requires 4 conditions to be met. The first condition is your BMI has to be 40 or higher. That's condition 1. The subsidiary of condition 1 is if you have a BMI that is greater than 35 but less than 40, you can still qualify for condition 1 if you have a comorbid condition of one of the following: severe cardiac disease, diabetes type 2, sleep apnea, hypertension, hyperlipidemia, or severe joint or disc disease. So again, condition 1 is a BMI of 40 or more, or if you don't meet that condition, you can have the subsidiary condition of having a BMI of 35 and higher, or 40 and below, and one of those comorbidities. I meet the condition of number 1 because my BMI is 49.1. Condition number 2 is if your BMI level is less than 40 and greater than 35, and you have one of the conditions of the comorbidities, you have had to have that condition for at least 2 years. So in other words, if your BMI was 37 and you had diabetes, if my BMI was 37 and I do have diabetes type 2, I would not qualify for the first 2 conditions because my diabetes was not diagnosed until a year and a half ago. So I would still have to wait an additional 6 months before I could go through the process of trying to be approved for gastric bypass surgery because I don't meet the first 2 conditions. But because my BMI is 49.1, I meet the first condition. And condition number 2 is already met because I don't fall into the category of less than 40. I'm over 40. Condition 3 is the client must have made at least one serious clinically supervised attempt to lose weight of 6 months or longer within the past 18 months of the prior authorization. Okay, so for me in my situation, my insurance company doesn't have any existing paperwork yet for my bariatric surgery. They will not receive anything from my doctor's office until after my 6th class, which is my binder class, on December 13th. And from what I know, based on what my surgery coordinator has told me, is that it takes about a week to 2 weeks right now with my insurance to approve bariatric surgery. So the 6 months or longer that's in that condition 3, you do want to make sure that for every month of that 6-month process that you are doing this, at least for me, I'm sorry, not all insurances are the same, but when they say a 6-month process, it's on the safe side to understand that they want 6 months. They don't want 6 appointments, so don't schedule your appointments, close together, get them all done right away. They won't count. You want to make sure that you're not overlapping your classes and that you're not making them too far apart. I'm not sure of the exact date. I didn't write it down, and I'm not going to go and look for it right now, but I think it's 36 days. If I go longer than 36 days between my classes in that 6-month span, I will have to start over because I've lost a month. And there's no documentation to support that, and there is no doctor who is going to create fictional information for anyone because that would be against the law. So, excuse me, pay attention to your appointment dates. Don't miss them, don't cancel them. Once they're set, you want to stick with them and go to them. If you cancel them, if you have to miss them for whatever reason, and it cannot be avoided, you want to schedule them as soon as possible, or make an individual appointment if at all possible with your bariatric team. If you're doing group classes, if your classes are groups, my classes are with groups, and if I miss it, we are told call immediately. Don't we've got to get you in to make up that lapse. We can't miss days. We have to get you in. So they're willing and they understand that this is a big deal for insurance companies. You don't want to miss your dates if you can avoid it. So once you set those down in schedules, do everything you can to make those. The fourth and final condition for my insurance is that medical and psychiatric contraindications to the surgical procedure have been ruled out through a complete history and physical. What that means and what your bariatric office should be doing for you is you have to meet individually with a nutritionist or a dietitian, and you have to meet individually with your psychiatrist. These two appointments are separate from your classes, and they won't be counted towards it because they are evaluations. The dietitian provides the piece of documentation that your insurance is going to require that evaluates your ability to meet the nutritional needs after the surgery. Will your body be able to be conditioned with the vitamins, the supplements, the food, the intake, all of that? Will you be okay physically to adapt to a bariatric surgery? That's for VSG and a gastric bypass. On the psychological side, the psychiatrist is going to provide another piece of documentation that provides the insurance with the proof from a psychiatrist that you are mentally stable and mentally adept at handling the psychological impact that this type of surgery will have on you. In other words, this psychiatrist is signing off that once you have this surgery, you are willing and able, I'm so sorry, you are willing and able to follow through with the diet plan. And you're not mentally unstable or off your rockers and you're gonna rush out to McDonald's and burst open your stomach. Usually you have those two appointments before you even have your classes, because if you're not mentally stable and can't handle this kind of surgery, and you are going to be the kind of person that runs out and ruins your stomach afterwards, they're not going to make you sit through 6 months of classes. So usually your your dietitian and your psychiatrist are going to meet with you prior to your classes, or right at the beginning of maybe class 1 or class 2, or appointment class 1 or appointment 1 or appointment 2 if you're doing a medically supervised diet with your doctor. So those are the 4 requirements from my insurance. So working closely with my primary care physician and my bariatric team, and also following the guidelines that I knew were in place with my insurance company, there were just a few more things, criteria that had to be met before they will do surgery on me, that my bariatric team needed from me. And those things are, of course, the 6 months of documented supervised weight loss, which is the classes that I'm taking. And I also need 2 years of weight history showing that I have been overweight. And so since I'm turning in my paperwork in December, it has to go back to December of 2015. I also needed cardiologist clearance letters, and since I had already seen a cardiologist prior, based on a referral from my primary care physician before my gastric classes started, I had to do an EKG, and also I had to do a stress test with a cardiologist. So since I was already seeing a cardiologist, I had all of that in place. She simply wrote a clearance letter for me, and that was provided and done. And then, of course, the Bariatric Institute provides the nutrition and psych evaluations for me, which I've already taken and passed both of those. So, in a nutshell, that took about 20 some minutes. um, that has been my experience and all of the knowledge that I've accumulated going through this journey and getting to where I am now. And hopefully I have done enough preparation and, um, you know, followed everything that they've given me to the T, so that when it comes time to turn in my paperwork for approval, I just have to wait that 1 to 2 weeks for my approval, and there won't be a denial, and I won't have to jump through any more hoops. Cross your fingers, please. So that's all my information that I have to share with you today. Please leave comments down below and let me know if I provided too much information, or if there was something that you were looking for specifically and I have come across it. I'm more than happy to share my experience with you. I really appreciate the comments. They let me know if I'm doing okay. I'm very new at this, and it is a lot harder than I thought it would ever be, but I'm determined to use my channel for my own accountability and for the support that the community out there really shows for each other. So I look forward to really getting into that. And that's it for today. I hope you all have a beautiful day, and I'll be seeing you again.